So a lot of finance gurus online will tell you that buying a primary residence isn't an asset and that it's a liability. And in some situations, that can be true, but it doesn't have to be true for you. And so what if I told you there's a way to treat your primary home like an investment from the moment you buy it? You might have also heard the argument that buying a home ties you down, while renting gives you flexibility, or that you need to be more established before you even think about buying your first property. And honestly, what does even more established really mean? And all that advice may sound right, responsible, or even conservative. And on the surface, it sounds really smart. But that belief will delay you from building your wealth for years. So in this video, I'm gonna show you why buying a primary home can actually be your best first investment you make, and how to think about it the right way so you buy it as an asset and not a liability. All right, but before all of that, if you've never met before, my name's Ernest. I work in tech. I'm an Air Force veteran, and I started investing in real estate 7 years ago, and now I own multi-million dollars in rental properties. I started with no money, and I had to teach myself everything that I know. I learned from books, podcasts, and real-life experience doing actual deals. Okay, so here's what we're gonna cover. First, we're going to talk about house hacking and how this strategy turns your home into an investment property. Second, real estate and house hacking help you build wealth in 4 different ways. And third, how buying a house without initially renting it out can still be an investment. Okay, so let's start with a belief that holds most people back and causes the most confusion. You've probably heard online gurus say that your primary residence isn't an asset because it doesn't produce income. And if you look at it from the surface, it kind of makes sense. If something does generate cash flow, how could it be an investment? But that perspective isn't the best way of looking at it. If you buy a home like most people, you'll buy a single family home with maybe 3 beds and 2 bathrooms. But what if I told you there's a way for you to live in a 3-bed, 2-bath home and have tenants help pay for your mortgage payment without them having to live with you? And so this is a real estate investing strategy called house hacking. Okay, so if you've never heard of the term before, let me explain. House hacking is when you buy a property, live in it, and then rent out a part of it like another unit, a room, or a basement to help pay for the mortgage. And this can be done multiple ways. Say, for example, you buy a house or what is also known as a single family home, and you live in the property and rent out the bedrooms to other people like your coworkers or your friends. And I know this may not be realistic to your personal situation. You might be thinking, but I don't want to live with other people, and I completely understand that. So let me show you a much more convenient way of doing it. Instead of buying a single family home, you can buy what we call a multi-family home instead. And if you've never heard of the term before, let me explain what a multi-family home is. So a multi-family home is one property that is made up of multiple separate units where each unit functions like its own apartment with its own front door, kitchen, and bathroom. A multi-family home can be called a duplex, a triplex, or a fourplex, depending on the number of units the property has. So the key distinction here is that the apartment has its own entrance, kitchen, and bathroom. Just imagine that for a second. You have your own front door, kitchen, and bathroom. That essentially means that you won't have to share the space with anyone anymore. And this is honestly how I started investing in real estate. When I was 27 and I was getting out of the military, I needed to move to St. Louis for a job and needed a place to live. Thankfully, I have read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad and have already started teaching myself about real estate investing. So I decided that instead of renting an apartment, I would buy a 4-unit apartment building and live in one of the units. And so I lived in 1 unit and rented the other 3. What was really interesting to me at that time was that all my tenants were all around my age. We were all young professionals starting out in our careers. We were all living in a very similar 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment. But the key difference was I owned the building and they were renting to me. Okay, so why does owning the building matter so much? Because since I own the building, I was able to take advantage of the 4 ways real estate helps regular people build wealth. Okay, so very quickly, let's talk about those 4 ways. Wealth builder number 1, cash flow. When I bought the building, my mortgage payment was around $1,300, while the rent that I was getting per unit was $650. So with the 3 units, I was receiving a total of $1,950 every month. And so yes, I was able to receive some cash flow after paying off my mortgage payment. But not only that, I was also able to completely eliminate my own housing expense. Wealth builder number 2, loan pay down. So whenever I make my monthly mortgage payment, part of that payment goes to paying down the debt that I owe the bank for lending me money to buy the property. That's a few $100s of equity that I build every month. And again, since I am receiving rents, my tenants pay down the loan for me. Wealth builder number 3, appreciation. Now, this might blow your mind. When I bought the apartment building in 2019, I bought it for $240,000. When I had it appraised in 2025, it was appraised at $428,000. That means I made $188,000 in equity just by simply owning the property. Wealth builder number 4. Tax benefits. Remember that cash flow that I was receiving from tenants? I was legally paying no taxes on it because of how the tax code is written. And without going into all the details, just know that the government incentivizes people to own real estate, so they provide tax breaks that allow buy and hold real estate investors to pay little to no taxes on the rents that they receive from their properties. I was the same age as my tenants. I was living in a very similar apartment, but because I decided to own the building that we all lived in, I was able to take advantage of all these amazing wealth builders that real estate provides. So a lot of real estate investors actually start this way. And I'm trying to show you how a regular guy like me was able to change my life and build wealth by simply making one strategic decision. So in my example, I said that I lived in one unit that has 1 bedroom and 1 bathroom. And that's because that's what I wanted and needed at that time of my life. But the thing is, you don't have to buy a multifamily home that just has a 1 bedroom and 1 bathroom per unit. There are a lot of multifamily homes that actually have 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms like most starter homes. And here in Texas where I live, there are actually a lot of new construction multifamily homes. So you're not necessarily sacrificing comfort when you house hack. You just have to find the property that fits your personal situation. And keep in mind, you don't have to live in the property forever either. I only lived in my apartment building for 1 year before I bought a duplex that has 3 bedrooms and 1 bathroom for each unit. I also house hacked that duplex, lived in 1 unit for a year, and rented the other unit to a nice family. Okay, so let's say house hacking a single family or even a multi-family home doesn't really fit your personal situation. Does that mean you shouldn't buy a property because it's not an investment? Well, not necessarily. Consider this. You can still buy a house and then make that an investment property. Here's how I did it and how you can do it too. After living in my apartment building for a year and lived in my duplex for another, I decided that I wanted to now own a single family home for me to enjoy and start living in. So I bought a 4 bedroom, 3 bathroom single family home. But before I bought that house, I made sure that I also looked at rents in the area and made sure that if and when I decided to move, the numbers still made sense for the house to be a rental property. I only lived in that house for a couple years before deciding to move again. And when I did, I was able to rent it out without having any issues finding good tenants, and I was able to make the property cash flow after living in it for 2 years. So you see, this defeats the argument that buying a single family home will tie you down. If you buy the right home and buy it with the right strategy, you can enjoy your own home and eventually turn it into a rental property. So if opportunities present themselves in your future, like a new job or career, you can still take advantage of those opportunities knowing that you can still move when you need to. This helps you overcome a potential challenge that you might also be considering. If one of your challenges for buying a home is because you don't know how long you're going to live in it, people stay in their homes an average of 10 to 12 years. But even if you decide that you want to move sooner than that, say for example in a year or 5 years, if you buy the home with the mindset that you're going to rent it out when you move, you can move whenever you need to and make it a rental property. As of 2026, the median home price is $415,000. And the average long-term home appreciation rate is around 4%. So if you bought and stayed in your home for just 5 years, your home would be worth about $505,000. And remember, you're also paying down the loan in those 5 years. So to summarize, if you bought a home, you'd be able to enjoy the home that you lived in while building wealth through loan paydown and appreciation. Compare that to when you rent for 5 years. In 2026, the median rent is around $1,300 across the US. So if you rented for the next 5 years, you would have paid $78,000 in rent. And that is if your rent is $1,300. A lot of homes or apartments rent for more than that. And that's also if your rent didn't increase in those 5 years, which it almost always does every single year. So in 5 years, you just paid rent. You haven't built wealth or equity. Some people also make the argument that renting now is cheaper than owning your own home. And yes, that may be true in some situations. But I would argue That is the short-term way of looking at it. But you're missing out on tens of thousands of dollars in loan paydown and appreciation over the years. What is that saying? You're stepping over dollars to pick up pennies. But I realize that buying your first home or investment property can be a little scary. There's a lot of moving pieces and it may be the biggest purchase or investment that you make. So if you want help thinking through this for your specific situation, whether house hacking or buying your first home or investment property, I do offer one-on-one coaching where we walk through the numbers and make these decisions together calmly and strategically. And if this video helped you decide whether owning or renting is the right decision for you, hit like, subscribe, or leave a comment below and let me know what you think. And as always, here's to your success. Keep learning, keep investing, and make your money work for you.